Hello everybody. We are here at Memorial Park, and this is the site of Westside Days, which is coming in July. And I know it's a month ahead of time, but we're planning to be here for Sunday morning, July 9th, and we're hoping to be maybe involved in some more of the weekend over the course of the 3 days. And so as opportunities for us to help out come, we'll let you know. But just to kind of say, hey, July 9, we're going to be down here, over there. Wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of it.
Circle the calendar.
Talk ahead, yeah, exactly. So we won't be at Lakeview Heights on July 9. We'll be down here, and we will have some transportation options to kind of meet and park and get a shuttle over. We're hoping to set all that up and encourage you to bring umbrellas for the sun. It does get a little warm, although it's about the time that it would be, and it feels pretty nice right now. So
nice little breeze.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, that's something coming. We've got a couple other things, but we'll look back first. What the passage was this Sunday. Kevin, you had, yeah, you had. Do you want to start with a question?
You know, I'm sitting there listening, and I'm listening to some of the thoughts about, you know, how Peter just fell into this temptation.
Let me back up for a second, just to set the. So we're looking at the trial of Jesus versus the mini trial of Peter. Jesus is on the inside being tried by the religious leaders. Peter's on the outside, warming himself by the fire, and then the servant girl comes up, and wherever Peter was failing, Jesus was succeeding, and Jesus was silent and told the truth, only spoke up when he answered the question truthfully. And Peter's like, no, I had nothing to, he's lying, and he's afraid. So that's the passage from the end of Mark 14. But then you had the question,
yeah, absolutely, and we just came out of Jesus being arrested in the garden, right? So like that involved Peter and stuff, and all of this kind of does work together, and it goes right even back to the supper that they had only just before this.
Yeah.
But as I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm thinking about this temptation that Peter is kind of falling into, thinking about how we realize sometimes that as we go through life, we end up falling into temptation, whatever it is, or even trying to save face a little bit every now and then. My question is sometimes, how do we kind of prepare ourselves for that?
Right.
Because we know it's coming. We know something is coming at some point to push my limit, whether it's my anger or frustration, or whatever it is, or my patience level, or the way I treat my neighbor, or some kind of, we can call it a test, but some kind of challenge is going to be coming. So if we know it's coming, what do we do? Because otherwise we find ourselves either kind of giving up, because like, everything is so hard. I just want to sit here and or we kind of go the other way and say, well, okay, I failed again. Oh, I failed again. Or kind of having this sense of everything is out to get me. But rather than do that, how did Jesus even challenge Peter a little bit, or the disciples, to kind of head towards that challenge or that temptation that was coming? How do we kind of relate to that a little bit? And I just was kind of thinking, like, how do we do it? Knowing that something is coming, right?
So just to relate back to the passage and what I think you're referring to, after we kind of walked through the passage on Sunday morning, there was a challenge, a comfort, and an invitation. And this is the challenge part, where on Sunday I was saying, the challenge is, how are we prepared? Because Peter wasn't, obviously. He fell into temptation to deny Christ. And then after the cock crowed, he was like, I failed, and here he thought he was so ready. So the challenge is, how are we being prepared for temptation or for trial? And here's what I kind of was thinking with that. Let's say I have this is a total hypothetical, because but let's say you have a neighbor that you just really struggle with. You know, they come out and they're angry at you, or they're asking you stuff that you're just frustrated by, or they're challenging you. So you know you're going to walk outside at some point and see your neighbor. So and you find yourself getting angry every time you do, and you're wanting to change that. And so what I would find myself doing to prepare is like, okay, when that happens, I'm going to think this, and I'm going to say that, and I'm going to pray or whatever. What this passage challenged me was, yeah, those are great, but how I really prepare is pray now for that time. Like, Lord, this time is coming.
Right. Please
fill me with your Spirit now. Please prepare me now, so that when that time comes, I turn to you automatically then as well, right? So like so in the invitation part, it was like turn to Jesus, whether the first time or the millionth time. We turn to Jesus now to prepare for the temptation that's coming, and we turn to him in the temptation. But we don't just say, oh, God, help me to stand strong in the temptation. No, Lord, help me now to be ready in you and trust you during that temptation, you know. And then when you think of it again, even if it's not there yet, you know, that's what, and it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, it struck me like, oh wow, that prayer is preparing me for the temptation. And then in a few moments, when I think of it again, Lord, just prepare me for when that temptation comes. I don't know when it's coming, but prepare me for it. Whatever you're susceptible to, right? You know, kind of, okay, that neighbor's coming, or if it's, somebody, I'm going to meet somebody and judge them. I tend to judge them poorly, like, so Lord, prepare me for the person I'm going to meet. Or, if you, whatever if you're tempted to lie or cheat or whatever it is, you know what you're susceptible to.
Yeah.
And then you also say, Lord, I don't know what I'm susceptible to, so please prepare me for that. But does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder too, like, how much of it is even that sense of like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if it's just as much about even just those small steps in training. Mm-hmm. So like, cycling. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a big race coming. I know it's coming.
Yep.
I don't know exactly when and how it's going to look.
Right.
Yeah, I might know the day. But what exactly it's going to look like? Well, how do I get ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
Little tiny small steps.
Yes.
Yep. and being aware of my surroundings, and so like when you're in that preparation mode, God, prepare me for what I know is coming at some point. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much it helps you even just think around a lot of things, and even kind of reminds you throughout your day. Mm-hmm. God is preparing me for something today. Mm-hmm. If God is preparing me for something today, okay, I'm going to be on the lookout, not in everything's out to get me, but on the lookout of like, okay, all of a sudden I see somebody in need, I'm there, right? Because I'm thinking about, God, how are you going to use me? How are you preparing me? What am I doing today? And it kind of gets our focus a little bit off of like this one thing in our life, and we just we're doing it and we're just kind of floating along, and yet it kind of gets us in these moments of like, I had this tiny little victory there, and then I had a small victory there, and I had a wonderful opportunity there, and I met this great person, and it makes me wonder how you get to the end of your day and not in a prideful way, but to say, God, you showed me that person. God, you showed up in this situation, and God, you led me to this other thing. And maybe what I thought, I was going to be tempted by or challenged by didn't happen, but God, you worked through my life in 20 different ways, and that's what you wanted my day to look like. And, I wonder how much it just kind of helps you kind of step back from that problem just a little bit. Oh, I can see the whole thing now, right? And I think we don't always think about that, because even like, I'm not going to get into what if.
Well, as you're talking, I'm realizing I haven't really put this into these words, but we're being challenged throughout Mark and throughout almost, all the the Bible is a long story that leads to Jesus and
Yeah.
his kingdom, right? He's bringing about his kingdom because he is the king of this kingdom. And so we're being invited into an alternate reality almost. Like it's what we know is worldly kingdoms and the value systems and the way the world works. And so we're like, okay, I got to be ready to, fight this and be attacked by this. And what we're being invited to is into an alternate reality where Jesus is king. And he is prepared for all of those things.
Yeah.
And he gives us the Holy Spirit to work in us and to do what you said, step back. Like, we're being invited into this new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And in this new way of thinking, we turn to Jesus in every circumstance. We are empowered by the Spirit for every challenge that comes our way. So we turn to him and we don't worry. Like, I don't have to worry because he took that. I don't have to be ashamed because he was ashamed for me. I don't have to have everybody like me because nobody liked him in that moment, and he loves me.
And even as you were saying, like, his Holy Spirit, and even then with that, we also don't have to necessarily live in fear of temptation, like something is always out to get me, because obviously I kind of laid it out that way.
No, but it feels like that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I've heard people say that too.
But when I know the Holy Spirit is with me, when I know Christ has overcome everything, and it tells us that in the epistles, like, I have overcome the world, right? And so, to know that all of those things are coming, that the Holy Spirit is with me in every one of those steps, I actually can look at it with a sense of confidence and not a sense of fear, right? And I think that's a good challenge for us to even just say, God, I know you're going to be in this situation that I'm going to face today. I don't know what it is, but I know you're already there and you're already working. So prepare me, like you said, prepare me now to go into whatever it is you have for me.
The challenge is also a comfort. The challenge is to step in to his grace. The challenge is to step into this alternate reality where we trust him, not ourselves. And that's hard. It's scary because we like to trust ourselves. But the comfort is, I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I'm not in control. He is, right? So there's a comfort, a challenge, an invitation, all three. What a beautiful thing. I mean, the longer I walk with Jesus and learn about this, the more clear that alternate reality becomes. Like, that's his life. That's what he wants us to live. And I am still trying to step into it, moment by moment. But so I mean, that gives us a little bit of stuff to chew on. I hope that you can kind of ponder that and talk to each other, to a friend or your small life group or whatever.
And realizing that, like, Jesus went to two different, standing before a trial, a couple of times in one day.
Well, we're getting to the next one
this week, right?
On Sunday. So, it's interesting that, Easter's behind us and we're kind of getting to the Easter story, but there's so much and it's wonderful. Coming up this Sunday is the second, the trial before Pilate on Sunday morning. But after Sunday morning is our second picnic of June. And man, we had a great time on Sunday, our first picnic. If you were there, you experienced it. If you weren't there, you can come this week. And we had a big game of duck, duck, goose with the, everybody playing. It was great.
It just broke out. We were all kind of sitting around and everybody was enjoying their lunch and chatting with the person next to them. And all of a sudden there was a duck, duck, goose game.
And don't worry if you aren't able to run, that you weren't tagged. And if you were, people were like, tag somebody else. But it's just fun, right?
It was mostly teenagers.
But
goofing each other.
But we were all kind of included, which was really fun. So so 12:30 down at Galatly Nut Farm. Bring your lawn chair and your food, and if you had a favorite game or something, like my son and your son brought baseball stuff, and it was just great. So
it was a good time.
I think that's it. Looking ahead to July 9th and the next few weeks of picnics, and so we just hope that you are having a great day, enjoying the beautiful Okanagan and enjoying life with Jesus, because it's there's no better life.